I want everyone to know that the Supreme Court justice has ruled in the favor of the geneticists, of the people manipulating our genomes. They have ruled that if there's anything synthetic, not from nature, inside of our genome, then whoever owns the patent on that synthetic piece now owns part or all of you as a human. That means the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the Department of Defense, another corporation can literally own a human being like cattle or chattel or property. And so this is why I and my colleagues warn people that these kind of gene modification injections have the potential of becoming taken up permanently inside of our genome. There are ways that that can happen. And we have actual science and research articles to prove that this can happen. So if this synthetic code, like I told you about in the beginning, gets taken up into the genome, by a law, you could be owned overnight. This is my warning. That was my warning video called Human 2.0, because that's what they term it. They believe that every single human on this planet should be into the transhumanist movement and be part cyborg by the year 2030. They gave a deadline. This means around the world, guys. They're dead serious about this. And this goes back into the technology that we were talking about in the beginning of this podcast with that hydrogel that I was talking about. It's like a liquefied nano version of a robotic substance inside the human body. That's how they can introduce artificial intelligence inside the human body, melding you with artificial intelligence, your natural human God-given body, which I am completely against. They believe they can just do this without our permission. This is unbelievable. These things have been discussed for many years in scientific meetings and business meetings. So look this up. Look up the word transhumanism. Know that DARPA, that Defense Advanced Research Project Agency, is completely a transhumanist agency, period. And it's funded by the Department of Defense of our country. Okay. And also Ray Kurzweil from Google, Elon Musk, Bill and Melinda Gates, these are all transhumanist people too. They are behind the movement. So do you trust what's inside of that injection? I don't. Because their goal is to get us all part cyborg by the year 2030. And that injection is the key. It's the glue that puts everything together. So I warn people about that. I'm on Twitter at Dr. Made and also Facebook, Carrie Made. You can look me up on there. People go on there. And then also serendipitygroup.org, O-R-G. That is a website that I have.
I'd like to make the council aware of the Supreme Court ruling 12-398 from 2013. Its unanimous ruling stipulates that modified DNA is patentable as intellectual property. What this means to people that have been injected with mRNA gene therapy is that they are now classified under law as a genetically modified organism or transhuman and can be patented. This push to inject the population is not just compromising our health from toxic spike proteins' effect on cardiac muscles. According to peer-reviewed medical journal Circulation, this just came out, it's compromising the legal standing of living men and women, dragging them down from a natural law and common law jurisdiction to that of a corporate person, which I've identified on this chart below. To do this without the informed consent of the recipient is a violation of the Nuremberg Code and comes with very strong penalties.
Yes, yes. Yes, it does. Thank you.
To give you an example that may be more familiar to you from the news, when Monsanto GMO seeds blow into an organic farmer's field, they sue the organic farmer for intellectual property infringement. And they use their Goliath size to bankrupt the organic farmer or the property and seize the property. To put it metaphorically, big pharma and governments are colluding to blow their mRNA seed into your body field to seize ownership of your physical vessel. This is part of a larger movement called the Fourth Industrial Revolution. It's been outlined by the World Economic Forum head Klaus Schwab. I will leave these books here for you for research. Bioengineering natural humans into Human 2.0, a merger of man and machine using graphene oxide and hydrogel as the injectable sensing and computing platform to make you a thing in the Internet of Things. When you own this property, you're a thing in the Internet of Things. You've lost your common and natural law rights. Just like with Facebook, they can censor you because you've accepted their terms of service, made an agreement to use their property, and you're subject to those terms of service. Klaus Schwab, head of the World Economic Forum, says, By 2030, you will own nothing and be happy. Who owns nothing? Slaves and property own nothing. This manufactured pandemic is a perverse form of technological slavery disguised as a health crisis. My appeal today is not to the unjabbed, but to those that have been injected. You have a narrow and rapidly closing window to fight this and seek remedy or forever lose autonomy over your body and life.
Yes.
Learn more about these far-fetched yet very real plans in these 2 books I'm providing you today. Thank you very much.
Well said. Well said. Thank you.
This is something that nobody's talking about, that everyone should be talking about. Who owns your cells? This is Henrietta Lacks. In 1951, a doctor at Johns Hopkins, the only hospital that would treat African Americans at the time, took a biopsy of her cervix and diagnosed her with an aggressive cervical cancer. She passed away 8 months later, but the doctor sent her biopsy to another physician at the hospital. And to his surprise, her cells continued to replicate even after she passed away, something that had never been seen in science before. Her cells went on to become the most famous and important contributions to biology in the last 70 years. There were 70,000 studies published on her cells, 2 Nobel Prizes won, pharmaceutical companies patented ways to use her cells and made a fortune, and Henrietta never consented to this. Didn't receive a dime, nor did her family. In fact, they weren't even informed until decades later, and now they're trying to sue some of these pharmaceutical companies. But it's no easy feat. Or take the case of John Moore, who was seeking treatment for his leukemia when the physician took a sample of his blood and tissue, went on to patent a cell line from it, and sold it for $3 billion. Moore tried to sue the University of California where the physician worked, but the Supreme Court of California said he lost property rights to his cells after they left his body. So it makes you wonder, who owns our cells? And in a time when we have 23andMe or smart toilets that will soon be collecting biopsies when we go to the bathroom, do we not own any of that? In the case of 23andMe, you actually do give consent to 23andMe to develop drugs based on what they discover with your DNA. In fact, they recently sold the rights to a drug they developed from their genetic database. But this is a business model choice. There is a world where people get compensated for their use of their genetic information. It's just not happening. But we are stepping into a world where technology is making biomedical solutions a lot more accessible and commercialized, which means our biological data is going to be a lot more prevalent in this new world of biomedical technologies. Take smart toilets, which are forecasted to be in most homes by 2030. Who owns your biological waste after you flush it down the toilet? Can a company patent what they find from it? What about the health data you share using your wearable technologies? This is a conversation that we need to be having as a society, not just the few companies who stand to benefit from it.